What have you been up to, man?
Oh man, it's been really a lot of work lately, man. I was just recently out here with the Dean for Will Not Be Televised, and we did a couple of shows here in Manchester, and we did London, and we
Was that with Finesse?
Nah, this was actually prior to that.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, because actually it started when I came out with Monch like earlier. I want to say like earlier in the year. And, you know, I went outside, smoked a cigarette with Dean, and we just kicked it. He was like, hey, man, we should just bring you out to do some DJ gigs. And then, like, maybe a month later, I was out here. Sure. And then, you know, we did Runcorn in London, and, you know, I met, you know, all the guys, you know, some of the local guys, TNC, and, you know, Connie Khan, and all these guys, Petey Cannon, and everybody. And it worked really well. And then, you know, prior to me, coming out here, you know, Dean, I spoke to Finesse, and he was like, we're gonna set up a Finesse tour. And then after I was out here solo, I came out with Finesse, and we did like 13 straight days, no days off. I went home maybe like 3 days for Thanksgiving, and look at me now, I'm back in Europe.
In the UK.
Yeah, man.
So you're on tour at the moment with...
Right now, I'm with the Rap Mayhem Tour, which is Ill Bill, Vinny Paz, DJ Clips from Fat Beats, OC and AG from DITC, and of course Pharrell Monch.
Nobody big then. Nobody.
Yeah.
You guys will probably would have heard of those.
Yeah, you never heard
it's all about Boogie, man.
Nah, I never heard
It's
of
tonight anyway. Tonight is. So where are you playing in Manchester tonight? What's that all about?
I think it's the Outdoor. The Outdoor?
Is it Odder? It's the
Yeah, why did I say the Outdoor?
Odder.
Yeah, the Outer, right, on Oxford Road?
Yeah, on Oxford Road, yeah.
We're going to be over there, me, Connie Khan, I think it's Billy Sykes, Petey Cannon, and the Loop DJs. It's like a DJ-a-thon.
Yeah, cool. I think it's going to be... It's a nice little spot. I think you like it.
Let's talk a bit more about the DJing side of things, because, you know, from the research that I've been doing there since, like, you've been, you know, scratching up since 2001 there when you were winning the Vestax World Championships there. You know, was that like a...
many moons ago.
You know what I mean? It's like 10 years ago now.
That era was kind of like, you know, I was always DJing at a young age because, you know, I was in my house, you know, my uncle, my mom, like, they collected records, my uncle DJ, so it was like, it's kind of like how your son is. It's like it's just there, you know.
Yeah.
And
you grew up around it.
Yeah. So, you know, later on in life, you know, I try to do everything that, you know, go to school, go to college, do this, do that. It really didn't work out for me. Yeah. And you know, I was really good friends with Rock Raider for a long time. And
rest in peace.
Yeah, God rest his soul. And we were just like, you know, Raider was like my scapegoat, because after a while, you know, my uncle went to college, he got turned into house music, and he had all these, you know, he kind of like, was like anti-hip-hop. I wouldn't say anti-hip-hop, but it was just like, it was more...
Lost his way in the hip-hop scene.
Yeah, but as he was getting older, it was just like, during that time in the late 80s, there was a lot of stuff flourishing, the new wave, the pop records, you know, and, you know, early Chicago house, and he was turned on by that, because I guess there was no... You know, wasn't any violence at those places.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Gangster rap was just starting to crawl through.
Yeah. So, you know, you know, Raider was kind of like a scapegoat for me to like go and just scratch and try to do stuff that I couldn't do on my uncle's turntables, even though he had 1200s and the top of the line equipment. It was just like, don't touch it like this, and don't slap my fader, and make sure all the wires are, and you know, it was just too fucking ADD. But you know, years later, I found a love and appreciation for like taking care of your equipment and listening to different types of music. So I definitely owe that to my uncle. But as far as like the turntablism aspect, that's all Rock Raider, because I was on the 8th floor and he was on the 7th. So you know, I could just go to his house and just cut. And you know, they were going through their phase. At the time, he was DJing for Fat Man Scoop, and you know, Scoop was rapping, and you know, the X-Men kind of formed, you know, as a alternate crew, because New York had the Supermen, which was Clark Kent, DJ Scratch, and you know, Plastic Man, Richie Rich, and those guys, and that they kind of came nemesis, and they kind of planted that seed of, you know, everybody wanting to, you know, do DMCs and stuff like that. But you know, years went on. I was playing basketball in high school, and I was pretty good, and I wasn't really DJing as much. I was just like, I would buy records and just, you know, have my one little record player and was happy with that. But you know, things changed, and you know, I brought a set off of Raider. You know, once he seen I was taking it seriously, and I was doing like this little, you know, little club parties, R&B parties, playing Mary J. Blige and all that stuff. And I just got really infatuated with turntablism. Raider took me to a showcase he was doing, and it used to be like a monthly event in New York called Tables Turns. All right. Shout out to my man Doug from Flood Watches, who was like a spearhead in that community. And you know, it was like, you know, they would let you had to get there early to sign up, you know, and it was just like open turntables, kind of like an open mic poetry thing. And you know, all the turntablists from New York would come up there, and my first time, you know, I was there, you know, Raider was rocking, and I want to say it was Mr. Sinister and DJ Swamp were like showcasing.
Right, Swamp's
and
crazy.
Swamp's off the
Did he set himself on fire? I told him Swamp as well.
This is before the fire trick.
He slashed himself up with the vinyl.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of crazy.
He's out there. He's a cool cat.
Yeah, he's a DJ.
As a guy, he was a pretty cool guy. I enjoyed Swamp. If you see this, I enjoyed your time. Our times, man.
He was a very, very cool guy.
He's a unique individual. So
to say the least.
Where did the introduction to like the actual executioners come about?
Well, I was around those guys when they weren't.
Was that like the original like rock?
Yeah, Johnny Cash, Steve D, Sean C, who's a part of the production team Grind Music, LV of course, Mr. Sinister. You had Dr. Butcher. You know, it was just like a crew of them, and they would just like battle each other in practice, and they would just, you know, do like the local battles as one battle. And
was that where the Expressions album came from? That
was way after, like they were all like battling for years, and then, you know, Sean C and LV kind of like went over towards, you know, Sean C was like one of the biggest A&Rs at Loud Records, you know, during that whole golden era, Wu-Tang, Big Pun, and all that stuff. And, you know, Mr. Sinister was DJing for Common, and, you know, Total Eclipse actually was DJing for Pharaoh, and, you know, it was just like, you know, after like their battle scene, like everybody kind of like sprouted into the industry, like as far as just making money for themselves. And then, you know, Rob Swift was doing this thing with Large Professor, Dr. Butcher, of course. And you know,
his solo album as well.
Yeah, and that's when it kind of like meshed into the solo album. Around that time, I was just like in like my first year of college, so I would come back and these guys were like on doing heavy tours and stuff, and I was just really happy for them. But you know, during that time, I wasn't really a part of that recording process because I was shooting jump shots somewhere. But I was always in contact with Raider, and when I come home, you know, I go to my cousin's house and I noticed that some of my doubles were missing. He was like, "Oh yeah, Raider was here," and he, so that's how that, you know, that's how our friendship is.
Friends,
and,
man, friends. You know?
Yeah, so I mean, like, as far as your question goes, like, I could pretty much say I was around when, you know, when Steve D was the king of beat juggling, and, you know, everybody in the X-Men were like his offsprings, and it's kind of like, you know, it was just good to see how everybody progressed, you know, because, you know, a lot of people from that era, they don't understand that there's always going to be progression. There's always going to be somebody faster. There's always going to be somebody that has a better scratch. There's always going to be someone that's sitting at home scratching more than you, you know. And some people from that era don't get it. And I don't want to throw any dirt on anybody's name, but you know, people have a false sense of reality, you know, when it comes to, you know, I did this and I created that. You know, that's cool, but you know, you planted a seed, and there's so many ways and so many people around the world that connected to what you did.
We touched on it briefly before. You don't just do the hip hop stuff. You enjoy your electronic music. You know, you're talking about your uncle who got into electronic. I can understand that, because a lot of the parties, I understand that coming from hip hop and then going into dance music. You'd be at sausage parties, you know, what we call sausage parties, was just loads of dudes who want to see you scratch. You play us a few joints for the girls, they get pissed off. You scratch too much.
They're not your friend no more.
Yeah, exactly, just because you want, you know, and everyone
you scratch, the girls leave.
Exactly. So I'm not hating on that. I love that scene as well. But
or when you get off stage and the girls like, hi, they're like, "Pooh, real hip hop." Yeah. You know, they like tackle the girls like. But you know, there's a different. The electronic scene just offers a different vibe. Well, you know, as you know, as being pigeonholed as a hip hop DJ or whatever, or put in a box or whatever. I mean, I really you know, I owe a lot of it to my uncle, because he, you know, when he was in college, I would go, you know, to, you know, spend the summers with him in college, and his roommates was from Chicago. And not only that, his roommate was a DJ, and his roommates was friends with Farley Jackmaster Funk.
Oh, wow.
So they would just, like, I mean, when I
they
say...
They were pioneers, weren't they?
When I say send them boxes of records, like all the DJ International records, all the Tracks records, like I know those records like in and out. And I would just get annoyed because at that time, he had a handful of hip hop records, and I would go down to college with all the Red Alert tapes and all this stuff. He's like, man, we don't hear that shit. You got to learn how to play this. This is the future. And I would be like, I'm a kid. What am I gonna do? Yeah, whatever you say is right. You know. Course, yeah. But that, I mean, as years grew on, as far as the turntablist aspect, I met a lot of people that scratch, but necessarily are not like hip hop. All I do is hip hop, and meeting guys like Craze,
yeah, he's a big
and cats from even here like Woody, Richie Roughtone, Scratch Perverts, other guys from Europe I met, C2C, Bernie Nam was doing their thing. There was a lot of people that kind of influenced me, and it's like being able to travel kind of opened up my eyes to like, I would come back and I would play these records and people would be like, man, fuck you on coke? I'm like, no, man, like, have you ever been to a party where there's 10,000 people and nobody's worried if you got a gold chain or your fucking Jordans or some stupid shit like that? Yeah. And those are the things.
No false pretenses.
Right. Yeah. And those are the things that keep me interested in trying to search and find records. And then, one of my turntable crewmates, is myself, Cut Fuchsius, DJ Precision, and DJ Shifty.
DJs, not Shifty in position now.
Yeah, man. Bernard always does like a cheesy club, so I would always go to him to his cheesy club, and I would just like study, like, damn, all right, I gotta know how to play these records just in case I gotta do something like this. And then Shifty came along, and then it was like during that time, drum and bass was dying down, jungle was dying down, and it was more like dubstep, and it took its turns, and I just wanted to be a part of that because hip hop is always going to be a part of everybody's life, but it's just to go places and meet people like dLo and like people from here, Chimpo, and all these guys. It's like it's an honor because they all love hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a foundation for most people.
A lot of DJs. That was their introduction.
Where I started.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, but it's like you got to be versatile nowadays because it's like you can gain more and you can learn more. You know what I'm saying? More about production, about moving around certain software programs, how to edit certain things. You just can't do that by doing hip hop all day.
Yeah. Of course.
Excuse me. A lot of hip hop records don't deal with tweaking frequencies and making shit, and just bugging out and sample free shit or whatever. But I mean, to answer your question, I owe it to my uncle because it was like a lot of people don't realize. It's cool that a lot of people play their own production, and that's a brilliant. But some people don't understand that early freestyle records, that's electro.
Yeah,
Pac Jam is electro. Planet Rock is fucking electro. They sample Kraftwerk for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't get that, and it's like you get some of these DJs that's like, oh, I'm just an electro DJ, but they don't even know the history of that.
Of their own music.
Yeah, of course,
you know what I'm saying? But, whether you pay homage or not, it's just the fact that you know about it and you can switch that and incorporate that with the new. And, it's just, that's how it keeps you motivated and it keeps you, clean and wanting to experiment and want to do stuff. Is like when you got to play the same 20 records and you got 8 DJs fighting to play those 2 records at 1 o'clock in the morning.
You get bored yourself as well, don't you?
It's ridiculous. It's repetitive. It's just stupid.
Let's talk about where you stand as far as like touring is concerned in 2013, the future.
Well, right now, I just got a placement on Pharoah Monch's new EP called Post Traumatic Stress Disorder, and I got the title track. So I'm trying to just, get into more of production. Last year I had a song with Gene Gray called Case Basket on a mixtape hosted by DJ Drama, and that went really well for me. And I've just been trying to just like get more techie, more of a techie guy, because it's like, it's good to have ideas, but it's better to be mobile with your stuff instead of like, damn, I gotta go home and go on this drum machine or whatever. So that's all I'm really trying to do, is basically become antisocial this winter and
hibernate.
Yeah.
Nice. And you're talking about Ableton. You're trying to get your head around that.
Yeah, man, because Finesse has been really, Finesse has really been drilling that, and my boy OG is nice on it. So I just been like, you know, just being a student of the game, like I've done with DJing. It's like I don't think it's like, you know, DJing is cool, but you know, you got to do something else.
It's a logical progression, though, from DJing to production, I'd say. Anyway,
you know, I have these conversations with you know, guys that I look up to. You know, the Crazes, the A-Tracks. You know, they're like the spearhead of that. You know, as far as me, you know, even though A-Tracks from Canada, but like, you know, they're. You know, that's what I saw. It's like when I was in the DJ battle scene, the Allies were like the king of the crop.
Yeah.
But at that time, I didn't know until I got a chance to go on tour. I didn't realize that, you know, DJ Craze is like a big jungle drum and bass DJ.
Yeah,
like I was just going off the assumption off the battle, Joe. He's a break that he break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of
so
course,
it was just like all that stuff really opened my eyes to doing that type of style. It's like, you know, I try my best to like, you know, have a well-rounded set. Like, even if you don't like some of the stuff I play, it's not what you play, it's how you play it. So that's pretty much how I approach things.
Cool, man. I need to ask you one other question.
What's up?
Eric Orr. First time we toured, when I first time I met Boogie, I was with Lord Finesse, and it was me, Finesse, Boogie, and this guy called Eric Orr. He's a really famous New York artist. He's about, he's in his 40s basically.
He's up there. I don't want to get him in no trouble.
He's like an older. Like he's even an OG to like Finesse. He's an old guy
to the second power.
Yeah, exactly. But he does these really. You should check him out. He does this really interesting art about the. He started off in the New York subways and stuff.
He's really good friends with Jazzy J, and I just spoke to him recently because he wants to start helping me with some of my merchandising. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw his Serato vinyls. I don't have any with me because I kind of like switch around, but he had like this ill artwork Serato vinyl. Then he came out with another like where he'll just like whatever you want, he'll just do a special one for you.
Right, yeah, he's talented.
But now I'm trying to see if they're gonna give him, excuse me, you know how Serato got the new vinyl that's kind of like more in tune with the program, so it wasn't skip, or you know sometimes you spin it back and it's not on time. The time code is off. Start again, yeah. So I don't know if he's doing something with those records because that'd be a really good look for him too.
He was another cool guy as well, man.
And he's the guy who did the original Strong City logo, so all the records on Strong City, you know, Suicide, Busy Bee, Cracked Out, Master Ceremony, you know, the early Grand Pooba records.
Yeah, he did all the artwork.
He was the logo. So if you ever see that guy with the arm that says Strong City, that's definitely Eric Orr.
Yeah, he's telling me where he lived. It was like hip hop started up one end of his street, and then graffiti art started on the bottom. So he just got into the art side.
I wasn't born yet, so
yeah, I don't think my dad was born when that happened, man. To be honest, I was still a twinkle in somebody's eye. But man, I gotta give props and big ups to Eric, man. He's a cool guy. Look, I hopefully see you again, dude. Yeah. That's it. We done.
I don't know, man.
Throw your exes up. Throw your exes up, man.
Hold on, I still got that. Hold on now. Okay, now we finished.
Okay. dLo Productions. Peace.
Shout out to the dLo crew, man. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for the hospitality. Shouts to Manchester. Gaza. We're gonna have some fun tonight, man. Come fuck with us, man.